Hey America, it's Chef John, the Ghetto Gourmet, coming at you live with a little Tupac rolling in the background. Tonight we're making some potato chowder, chicken and potatoes. Basically any soup that has potatoes in it becomes a chowder. You can have your cream soups, you can have your broth soups, but we're making chicken and vegetables and just a chicken chowder tonight. Pretty simple. We got a lot of items to work with, so I'm going to run through them here. We're going to start our pan right here with some nice peppered bacon. I got some nice chunky pieces, so I got some good large dices in there. I threw a little butter in the bottom of the pan. We're going to get that started right away. And then I'm going to start talking about the rest of the products here. I want the bacon to render, to leave some nice fat in the bottom of the pan. And then we're going to start off with our next items. We have some chicken diced up. Now every time we have protein, salt. So I got a little salt on this, and got some beautiful paprika here. This is from the Kiva. If you got a little hippie store around you, that's the place to get your spices. I buy all my spices from the Kiva. I really don't buy much else there because I'm not a hippie. I'm ghetto, and the food just costs too much, and I'm living off food stamps. So this is why this is the Ghetto Gourmet, and this is how we're going to do our food tonight. So I'm going to take a little paprika, put a little paprika on the chicken, because I like a little bit of paprika when I'm cooking this. Not too much, all right? I got a little salt on there, lightly salted. Got pepper in the bacon, so we're not going to be worried about peppering them. I got some little bit of celery seed here. Celery seed on that. I'm not doing too much right now because all this is going to cook. I don't want the herbs to burn while they're in the pan. Turn this up a little bit more. It ain't moving very quick. So I got some real nice sage here. See that? Nice and fluffy. Put a little bit of that on the chicken. Now I'm gonna put some more herbs in it later, like I'm saying. And thyme. Every chef needs a little thyme, right? So I'm gonna put a little thyme on the chicken there. So that's what it's gonna look like right now. Now also I have one large onion diced, medium diced, and 3 stalks of celery, medium diced. Probably can't see it very well if I do it with my hand covered. All right. I have a little garlic, and it's green because it's got some shoots in it, and I need to get rid of it. This is ghetto cooking. Pickle juice, and I was running short, so I put a little bit of lemon juice in there. This is for acid. The reason why we're adding acid is this is going to be a cream-based soup. I'm going to finish it with heavy cream. Now, if you have fat, you want to bring the flavor out. The way to bring the flavor out of fat is with acid and with salt in your buildups, okay? Tools I'm going to be using are my beat-up old spatula, my whisk. So we got that started there. Now I have a little bacon fat on standby here. Now I like to take my bacon fat. This isn't done yet, but I'll take this and I'll put it in the microwave in something glass, and I'll heat it all up, and then I'll put a couple of coffee filters into another bowl, or the thing I'm going to save it in, run it through the coffee filters, and I get this beautiful creamy white fat when I'm done. So we can hear that starting to pop over there. I'm going to turn the temperature. I got it about 7 on the stove. Keep that moving so it doesn't stick to the bottom too much. Alright. What else I also have here is I have a little flour. I'm going to make my roux right in the pan. We've got our heavy whipping cream that we're going to finish this with. And I got my milk. This is a cream-based soup. Now over here, I do this. This is a little bit of miner's base, and see how it's kind of yellow there? This is chicken base. I get it from Winco. Really nice product comes out of Winco for chicken base. I put a little water in here. The reason why is milk scorches, and I'm going to be simmering the potatoes in the milk, but I like to add a little bit of the chicken stock and a little bit of just a little chicken stock to thin the milk out just a little bit, so I don't have to worry about scorching. I don't have to worry about it sticking to the bottom of the pan. It's going to work a little bit better. So I'm going to show you what's going on in the pan over here. Also, I've got some potatoes. I've got these about large dice. Got them sitting in water so they don't turn brown while we're waiting. Did all this up earlier. We'll drain my potatoes here. Now, I like to build everything in the pan, so everything's about timing. So in the pan right now, we can see how that's coming out real nice. And I'm about to add the chicken in a second here, because I don't want my bacon to overcook. I still want some. I don't want it crispy and hard. I want a little chewiness, but I want all the fat to render down. And since I'm using some really thick, I use some end cuts. I go to the grocery mart here in town. Basically, it's the really low prices on a bunch of overstock products by corporations that like to sell it at a lower price. So grocery mart goes in there and buys all this product up. So these are ends and pieces. And I really like this bacon. Really got wonderful flavor in it. I don't think I'm going to need any standby bacon fat because we're coming up with a lot of fat in this pan. Let me show you what's going on here. Alright. So you can see the little pieces are starting to crisp up a little bit. Got to be bumping along a little bit with Tupac in the background, you know what I mean? So, I'm going to take my chicken right now. Yes, pieces are starting to get nice and brown. Take my chicken, put my chicken in. So I'm going to move that around a little bit. Now I got all that fat in there. That was just the right amount because my chicken is not gonna stick to the bottom now. I want to get that going part way, and then I'm gonna add my veggies. I like to have everything staged out. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a roux right in the pan. Now roux is a French term. This whole, having this all set up here is called mise en place. It's also another French term, means all things in their place. So it's very important if you're going to do some good, proper cooking in the kitchen, and you're not real skilled with a recipe, to make sure that you got all your product ready. We're going to build a roux in the pan. Now roux means equal parts of clarified fat and flour. Any fat can be used. You can use oil, you can use olive oil, you can use ghee, which is a reduction. It's an Indian term for clarified butter, but that's more of a reduction. Clarified butter is when you take the butter and you remove the milk solid. So my favorite way to make clarified butter is I take a big tub of butter, put it in the microwave, nuke it until it's all thinned out or melted out, and then I put it in the fridge, and it solids up overnight, and all the liquid that's in the bottom of it, the next day I come and I pour out the liquid and even maybe rinse it with just a little bit of warm water to get nice clarified butter. So that's for some really nice sauce making. So let's see what's going on here in the pan. We got the chicken. See how it's almost done? It's got a nice brown on the outside. So at this point, I'm going to put my veggies in. You got to have things at the right temperature. If you have it the wrong temperature, you get this real buildup of liquid. That's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to create a nice saute. I'm trying to get all the flavors put into the item. So instead of like having this moisture that builds up around it, I'm going to turn this up even a little bit more for a second so I can get my onions and my green peppers. Not a lot of cooking, can be done by sound. When I was a fry cook back at Red Lobster years ago, I could cook by sound alone. I would hear the fryers, and I would know the food was done by the sound it makes. So I want you to listen to the sound. See that sound? Got that high sizzle, and a little bit of that pop, 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 pop. The steam is coming off the top, so that we know that there's not really a big moisture building up. You can see that bubble starting over there. That's some moisture starting to build up. That's why I turned it up a little bit. So I'm going to turn it up even more. I'm going to turn this on high for a second, because I don't want that moisture in there, because I can't build a roux if I have moisture. I need fat to build a roux. Alright, so I got a little moisture in the pan, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to outsmart the moisture. I'm going to push all my product to the side, get a dry spot like that, and then I'm going to build my moisture. I'm going to put my fat in, add a little bit more bacon fat after all. And right on top of that bacon fat, I got to do this kind of quick. Bam! The bacon fat in there. Right on top of it, I'm going to put my flour. So I got that like that. I'm going to work that fat and that flour together real quick, real quick, real quick. And I create this paste right there, right? See how that happened? So I don't think that's enough to thicken it. So we're going to put another scoop of flour in. Let's make it 2. Make sure. All right, right. Move this product all around. So chicken is barely done. I see how my vegetables are nice and fresh still. I got this paste going. Now I'm gonna turn my temperature way down. Y'all can't see nothing, can you? You got all fogged up. Can you see now? Can you see now? All right. And bam, just quick like that. I'm gonna take my chicken stock. Man, forgot my garlic. Let's put my garlic in. Get that garlic working just a little bit. The heat of the other food in there will start bringing the oil out. Oh, I can smell the oil already. So I'm gonna take my stock. Bow. Move that in. All right. Come with my milk. All right. That was just the right amount. Just getting crazy, throwing shit around. I got my whisk right now. Now, the secret to roux is, and I heard this off of the far north years ago. Remember that when everybody was up in Alaska and that crazy guy was a super good chef, and they made this glacé de viande. A glacé de viande is a beef reduction. So basically you take a beef stock and you reduce it by 1/64. You have to do it real slow. Can take up to 4 to 5 days to make this sauce. So when you get to the end, it's called, the glacé de viande means the elixir of. It's a French term. And he says, now when you put the roux in, what do you want the roux to do? You want the roux to poach. You don't want your water boiling. You don't want your water dead cold, so the fat and the flour separate. You want your water or your stock, or in this case we have stock and milk. See how it's looking there? We have this at, we want it 160 to 180 degrees. That's poaching. So that's pretty thick. I'm gonna add a little bit more milk. Always got some backup. So we're gonna simmer our product now. I'm gonna add a little bit more milk, so I have an adequate liquid. There we go. Let you get a look at this. Kind of nice and wet there. This is going to be good enough for me to take my potatoes. Yeah, thinking about better days. Hang with the brothers that I grew up with. Get up and stay strong. All my homies singing yay all day long. Can't pay the rent. So I'm gonna turn this up because I put the potatoes in. The potatoes are pretty cold. I want to get all this working, but I want it simmering. I want to simmer the potatoes. I want to simmer all the flavors in there. Now remember, we held some spices back because we didn't want them to burn. But I want my flavors, my potatoes flavored. I want all this milk flavored. I want all my flavors to meld together. So I'm gonna add my spices now. The salt, I'm gonna add a little bit of salt now, but not too much because we salted the meat. We've got base in there, which has got a lot of salt in it. I prefer to work with pure chicken stock. Magnifique. So I'm gonna add a little bit more paprika. Paprika is a very subtle flavor. Isn't this beautiful? This is some Hungarian paprika. See, look how bright red it is. Y'all, my homies upstate, got loves for you, man. If I could be up there in the kitchen, you know, if I come and do some time, if I get crittleastic and crazy and like a little spastic and do some bang bangs, other shit like that, I'm not trying to, but I'll be up there teaching y'all how the Ghetto Gourmet goes, so all y'all cats can make some money when you come out. Step up to your peoples, take care of your own, do right for your babies, because that's what it's all about, man. That's what brothers is all about, taking care of one another. It ain't about trying to come up on your own no more. You got to come up together. So I'm going to put a little thyme in there. OSP, OSCI, Chowder Creek, EO, Snake River. Looking better days. Yeah. Old Gold 15, Chowder Creek, Boot Camp. So basically we got everything here. We're going to let this simmer. You see I got my steam up. I said I was going to add a little bit more salt, right? Now, and here's our lemon juice and pickle juice. I prefer pure pickle juice. Pickle juice is like such a subtle acid, such a subtle flavor. You can use it in sauces, you can use it in soups. Man. Let me give you a look at what's going on in the pan here. See that? See, we got a little liquid. See how chunky it is? Now that's going to thicken up pretty good. Now I can always make some more roux on the side. If it's not thick enough, slap it in there. I can take a cornstarch slurry, which is a little bit of cornstarch and a little bit of cold water, whisk that in, and that'll help thicken it. Cornstarch gives a really nice shine to the top of things. That's why Asian dishes, Chinese food, have that really nice sheen over the top of them. All right, see, we got the temperature just starting to simmer. So I'm gonna turn this down right here because we got that milk in there. We don't want to burn our milk. We don't want our product to stick to the bottom. We don't want it to thicken incongruently. And then we're going to finish it off with heavy whipping cream at the end, a little bit more salt. Hopefully I got the acid on, but we're going to be smart. We want to grab our little tasting spoon. We're going to taste this broth. That's nice. The herbs, you can taste them. the onion, the green pepper, the chicken, paprika, the salt. Could be a little bit more on the salt. But we don't ever salt it too much until we hit the end. It's the last thing you always do. So we're going to simmer this maybe 15 minutes until the potatoes are soft. I'm going to stop moving it too much now because I don't want to break the potatoes up. I want them to cook in nice squares, big chunks. Now what I'm doing right now, just before I leave it, is I'm going along the entire bottom with the bottom of the spatula on the flat bottom of the pan, and I'm scraping. And I'm removing all that fondant. It's another French term that means the, I forget what it means, but it's basically all the stuff that sticks to the bottom of the pan. It's also what sticks to a sheet pan if you're cooking your beef bones off before you make a brown sauce. But I'm scraping all this off the bottom of the pan. I want all that good flavor into the soup, and you can feel it when it gets nice and smooth when you get it all up. Now also, once I get that off the bottom, I don't have to worry about it sticking to the bottom anymore. Once you get a nice flat, smooth stainless steel bottom in your pan again, and you don't have all that buildup in there, it's not gonna stick. It just doesn't have anything to stick to. It creates this nice movement in it. I got a nice simmer going there. A mild boil, just a little gentle boil, or a hard simmer right here, and that's going to cook our potatoes. So I'm going to let that go and get everybody a break. I want y'all to think about what I said. No, think about the loves. Think about this is all ghetto. Think about, I want you to do this in your home. I want you to be healthy. I want you to cook better for you and your family. I want you to save a lot of money. I get $200 in food stamps a month. I'm poor. I'm kind of crippled right now. Can't work. And I got too much food. I cook everything from scratch. I got too much. So I give a lot of food away. And I got a freezer full. So if you're ghetto and you're on food stamps, and if you're eating stuff out of a box, I don't want you doing that anymore. It's not good for you. It's not good for your family. If you got some color on your skin, it's definitely not good for you, because that shit is not good for black people or brown people or yellow people. It's just not good for you. White people, it's not good for you either, but for some reason y'all can handle it better. I don't understand that. So I'm gonna let this go. I'm turned it all the way down to 4 because the temperature keeps raising up on my product. I'm gonna watch it too, because we are working with milk here. And once you scorch milk, once you're making a cream-based soup and you scorch the milk on the bottom of the pan, it'll just come up right through the entire food and ruin the entire dish. And it can happen, bam, just within a couple of minutes. So this keeps trying to bubble harder, and I keep trying to turn it down. So I'm down to 3 now. All right, we're going to come back in about 15 minutes. I'm going to add the cream. We're going to finish spicing it, and we're going to give it a little bit of salt, and then we're going to try it. All right, this is Thor. Chef John, the Ghetto Gourmet. Peace. Eat better.